In today's video, we're going to be having a look at 5 features that I'd like to see added to Home Assistant in 2022. Check it out. What's going on, guys? I hope you're all doing well. In a previous video, we had a look at 12 of my favourite features that were added across the course of 2021, and if you did happen to miss that, you will find it linked above and also in the description below, so go and check that out. And if we move on from the past to the present and future, these are 5 features that I'd like to see added across 2022. Some of them might be a little bit ambitious and some of them might not be super practical, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. And if you do have your own ideas and your thoughts of features that you'd like to see added, then let me know what they are in the comments below. Let's kick this off with the first feature then. And if you've been in the Home Assistant bubble for a little while, then you will have definitely heard of this one, even if you haven't yet seen it. And it is, of course, drag and drop for Lovelace. Drag and drop for Lovelace is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It allows you to drag and drop and resize the various different cards and elements that make up your Home Assistant dashboard. Drag and drop was being developed by the one and only Zach Barrett, who's now also a full-time Nabu Casa employee. So great work and congratulations on that, Zach. And we're going to expect to see lots of cool things from you, more awesome front-end stuff, and of course, drag and drop. If you're interested in having a peek at potentially what drag and drop could look like within Home Assistant, then you'll find a link to Zach's YouTube page in the description below, and there you'll find a video where he runs through an early alpha build of drag and drop, so go and check that out. Moving on then, the second feature I'd like to see added in 2022 is the ability to create groups using the user interface. Currently, Home Assistant groups are all created and written in YAML. Now, if you're new to Home Assistant or maybe you don't like using YAML, then you're actually going to be missing out on a big feature here, and groups are very useful and have a lot of power to them. The actual code for writing them isn't too difficult and there's plenty of guides for them, but again, if you're not using these, you're missing out on a big feature here. My idea for this feature would be to kind of take what we already have for areas and just modify that up a bit for groups. So as an example, you'd head into your configuration, and then under devices and services, you'd see that you've got integrations, devices, entities, groups, and areas. So we'd get this new tab at the top for groups, and inside of that, we'd have all the different groups that we've created. And in the bottom right, you'd have a little button for creating new groups. You could then just edit and view any of these bits of information. You can combine your entities into new groups, and so on and so forth. Basically, just what we have for areas, but groups. Another aspect of it that would be very useful and helpful is the ability to just edit and modify these groups. So if, for example, say you remove a device or you've got some straggler entities, these groups could show you the entities that are missing and you could just easily remove them, again, without having to touch the YAML. But I guess it's down to, user preference. You can still edit it in the old groups method using YAML, but this would just be a nice user-friendly method, I guess. And on to the third feature. So the third feature I'd like to see added is more account controls. So with update 2021.12, we did get a little bit more in the sense of account control. In that update, we got the ability to create user accounts that can only log in and access our Home Assistant if they're currently on the same network that Home Assistant's running on. Now, this is a nice step forward and it's great to see more account things being added, but I would like to see this expanded on a little bit more. So some of the ideas I had to expand on this would be something like the ability to create an account that's got a set expiration or a set timeout on it. This might be useful if maybe you're running an Airbnb or something like that, where you want to be able to lock the user account from maybe an automation or a service call. And the idea behind the timeouts would be kind of like a parental control thing. So maybe you could have the ability to lock or stop an account using various items or devices at a set time. Maybe you want to stop the kids from using the TV or turning on their tablets at a set time. And maybe parental controls and account settings isn't something that you're interested in, but this one might. So my fourth feature is an improved Blueprints exchange. Currently, when you're searching for blueprints, it takes you to the Blueprints exchange, which is external from your Home Assistant, and it takes you to the Home Assistant forum. From here, you can browse the various different blueprints that people have uploaded, and if you want to, you can import them directly into your Home Assistant. And this works well, and it's made a lot better by the inclusion of the My Home Assistant buttons, so you can just click that Import Blueprint button and it will take it directly into your Home Assistant. To me, it just feels a little bit clunky, and it could just do with a lick of paint. Now, it would also be cool if you could actually browse and search for those blueprints within Home Assistant and just have it all native rather than having to leave and come back. I don't know how feasible that is, but I think it would be cool. And on to the last feature then. So if you've been watching this thinking none of those features are practical and maybe they're all a bit out there, wait till you hear this one. So my fifth and final feature would be the ability to have shared Home Assistant instances. So what I mean by this is you could share your Home Assistant entirely or sections of Home Assistant with another Nabu Casa user. The obvious way of giving someone access to your Home Assistant would be to provide them with the URL they need to access it, as well as a username and password. But my idea here with shared instances would allow you, if you've got an active Nabu Casa subscription and another person also has one, you could link the two instances together, so you could optionally choose what entities, what automations, basically whatever parts of Home Assistant you want to share with the other person. So in our example here, we've got a new column in our devices for instance. So anything in that instance that's local is currently in our Home Assistant. And I can see there's another instance there for Dad's Home Assistant. So in this case, my dad will have shared his Home Assistant instance with me. And the idea behind this would be you could configure and control those devices or scripts or automations, or again, any part of Home Assistant that they choose to share with you, and you could then configure it for them. So kind of like it's a big giant Home Assistant with all these little Home Assistant nodes connected. But what I'm actually going to do here is just tack on another feature, because I think this one was a bit poorly explained. If you did happen to get what I'm trying to say, then yeah, let me know in the comments that you got what I was going for. Okay, so fifth feature, take two. So the idea and concept for this one is much easier to understand, but basically it would be a theme store. So this could be a place where you could click in Home Assistant and you could do a search for some keywords again, kind of like I said with the Blueprint Exchange, but you could do a search for a particular theme and you could just view them in Home Assistant without having to leave, and then you could just apply them directly to Home Assistant. And these themes would again all be user submitted and user created. But I think it would just be a nice touch and it would give a bit of differentiation, and it's a lot easier for people to set up and install. And there we go, that's been a quick look at 5 new features that I'd like to see added to Home Assistant in 2022. And I know some of those are a bit far-fetched and would require a lot of work, but you know, we've got those Home Assistant guys, they know what they're doing. Again, if you've got any cool ideas or features that you'd like to see added, then let me know what they are in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop me a like, and if you're not already, hit that subscribe button and ding dong that notification bell. You'll then be alerted to any future video that I do. As always, a massive thank you to these awesome dudes. These awesome dudes are my Patreons. If you're interested in supporting my channel, which in turn helps me to create content like this, then you'll find a link to my Patreon in the description below. Also, a massive thanks to Frank, whose image I may or may not have borrowed for this video backdrop. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.